separate yourself from your old identity to start having a new identity. And why do we cling to our old self if it's not even serving us in this moment? And sometimes every day, I will, let's say, go through these feelings of trying to cling to my old identity, which is small, which is literally limited, a limited mindset, not enough like freedom, not enough thinking in your own way. And why am I choosing to cling to that identity so much? And sometimes we cling to it because we love our suffering. And it's so true, but sometimes the suffering is like an addiction and we love to suffer. And I will turn on like sad music and I will think that I should live in this way because people around you maybe are suffering and they think that life is supposed to be suffering. But let me tell you, it's really not. And every single day, we have to choose to live a little bit more, to love ourselves a little bit more, and to enjoy life just a little bit more than yesterday. And it's hard to always choose to live and enjoy life when you weren't raised like that. And when you were raised that life is supposed to be more difficult and life is supposed to be a struggle. But a lot of Buddhist teachings talk about this, how a person is like most of their I think it's their like suffering comes from their desires and just like always needing something. But what if you stop needing always something and you just embrace the present moment and truly found joy in the present moment? And at first, I'm telling you, it's going to be hard because we're always like seeking outwards and we're always looking for something. But when you come back to yourself and you come back to your own flow and your own rhythm, you realize that you can go internally and really try to see within yourself and realize that all the suffering that I'm really like feeling right now is like from so many different social constructs or from society or from how I'm supposed to live according to society. But really, we have to not live and not look at society and say like, oh, if that's how people are living, then we have to live like that. And if we are like consuming too much content and thinking that this is how we're supposed to be and this is how life's supposed to look, but really you have to like limit the amount of all of that because you have to go internally and realize that most of my suffering is coming from desires that I'm always trying to desire something that maybe I don't even want it. Really, at the end of the day, what we want is the feeling. We don't necessarily need so many different things in life, but really, what we want is to feel, for example, safe within yourself. Like if you are, let's say, seeking a lot of money or a lot of love, you're seeking relationships, you're trying to build wealth, you're trying to build something for your life right now, but really you're trying to seek a feeling. You're trying to seek safety within yourself, freedom within yourself, love for yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody can love you as much as you love yourself. So it may be hard to give yourself love when people around you didn't necessarily give you they basically gave you conditional love instead of unconditional love. So you're gonna have to go more internal and tell yourself like, I love you even on the hard days. And I'm telling you, when I started going out into the ocean and surfing, I noticed that I loved going on the windy days. I love going on the sunny days. I love going on the cloudy days. I like when it rains. I like to go on all those different days. And I go out into the ocean, and every day it's the ocean, right? But every single day it's so different. But at its core, it's the ocean. So too with you and with yourself. Every single day we can feel another emotion. One day we feel windy, one day we feel, cloudy or rainy or moody or happy, like a clear blue sky, sunny and 75. Like every single day we can have another feeling that we feel internally, but when it comes to the root of it, to our core, we are the ocean. We are so unique. We are so vast and so different and sacred. And we have to realize our value no matter no matter what weather is going on around us. At our core, we have to love ourselves unconditionally. And like some people, for example, which is completely fine, but some people maybe they don't want to go out into the ocean when it's raining or when it's cloudy, you know. They wouldn't want to go on those days. But for me, I will love those days so much because I see the beauty in it. And obviously, personally, I only surf like super small waves, so I don't go out into the ocean on the big swells. For example, now we have a big swell and I stay away from it. So that's just like personally for my safety, but everyone has like a different level of how they feel out and doing sports and different things. But I still like there's another understanding of the ocean I'm talking about, which is like how it looks and how it feels. And you have to really do things for yourself and actually love yourself and feel like even if people aren't giving you the love that you want or your business isn't going well, how you wanted your business to go right now, what are you gonna have to do? You're still gonna have to love yourself unconditionally because it doesn't, your business that let's say isn't working well doesn't necessarily, it's not like a mirror of you. And sometimes like we take it so personally, like if things, for example, aren't going well business wise, and let's say it's a slow month or something is really slow, and I will sometimes look at myself and say like, oh, I'm such a failure because my business is just so slow right now. And I have to remember who I am. I have to remember what a winner I am and how much successes I had and how much different business ideas I had that actually followed through and went so beautifully. Like, I have to remember the good days because we forget, like, as human beings, I feel like we forget the good days and we focus on the negative. And like, I'm focusing on like, oh, but this is such a slow month and this is so hard. I have to remember all the good days, and so too you. Like, that's how you can tap into a better frequency, is you look at your life and remember all the good days, and remember that every single time you had a hard time, you pushed through and you got out. And right now, if you're going through a hard time, remember, like, go back in time and remember a different hard time that you had and think about it and be like, wow, that was really for the good. I have a very interesting analogy that happened to me recently, and it's like separate, but you'll understand it once I say it. Basically, it was Saturday, and then my fridge completely stopped working, and it was clearly the electrical, like in my room, and because I had two plugs in, and I'm sure it was taking too much, and there was one ring device plugged in, and then it was my fridge plugged in, and I was like, okay, too much electricity coming through. So my fridge shut off, and I was kind of so annoyed. And also then it started leaking because the freezer had like a buildup of ice, so the whole thing started leaking in my freezer. And I was like, this is literally so annoying. Like, I have no patience to clean this now. Like, it was the type of thing that I just wasn't in the mood of doing, like cleaning out my fridge and freezer. It wasn't even like crazy dirty, but then once everything melted and I started cleaning it, I was like, wow, this looks so good, so much better. Then I cleaned out the fridge. I threw out basically like anything that was kind of old. I just was like, nah, we don't need that. I made it fresh. I put in new drinks and I just like refreshed my whole entire fridge. And what happened is that now my fridge is like sparkling clean and it's such a nice vibe in my room. But beforehand, if I would have just been like looking at all the negative and saw my fridge and being like, ugh, this is so annoying, and then I have to clean it up and everything. And if I didn't really look at like the bright side of it, like something so annoying happened, but now look how beautiful it's looking now, okay? So this is like a very random, simple analogy, but you can take from it a lot, is like something in your life that happens and it looks so annoying, like so annoying. Let's say, for example, something's happening, but when you look further down the road, you'll understand why it happened, you know. I had a recent, let's say, like a couple months ago relationship, and I was thinking like, why did this happen? And then I realized a little bit down the road that this person was like always speaking about like so much about mental health, and like it was like so excessive. Something about it made me realize that, hey, maybe I don't need to like focus so much on the negative and like the mental aspect. I want to like push further and understand that I'm whole and complete. And maybe that's why I met that person, and to understand that I am perfect the way I am. I don't need to always need to fix myself. And that's just a random tangent. But anyways, things come into our life. Basically what I'm trying to say is that different things come into our life, and at the moment we don't understand why, but when we look further down the road and time passes, it usually makes sense. And even if it doesn't, the stars align. You know, one day like it all clicks. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. Keep going, keep pushing forward, and feel free to check out my other videos and like and subscribe down below. We'll see you back for the next video. Bye!